There is nothing worse than investing your time into an absolute masterpiece of a television show, only for the network to pull the plug right when it gets good. Today in the Pop Room, we are looking at 7 shows that were simply too good to be cancelled. And just to prove how incredible they are, every single show on this list holds an IMDb rating of 8 or above out of 10. These are top tier, brilliant series that got completely screwed over by massive budgets, corporate IP wars, and clueless executives. I'm going to tell you exactly what they're about, how long they lasted, and the infuriating behind the scenes drama that killed them off. Let's get into it. Kicking things off with one that hurts the most, Mindhunter. Directed by David Fincher, this show takes you back to the late 1970s and follows the creation of the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit as they interview imprisoned serial killers. The show lasted for 2 seasons only, unfortunately. So why was it cancelled? This was a mix of exhaustion and money. David Fincher was the primary director and showrunner, and the production was incredibly draining. On top of that, Fincher's meticulous directing style and heavy use of invisible CGI to recreate the 1970s made the show insanely expensive. Netflix ultimately looked at the budget, looked at the viewership numbers, and decided they weren't getting a high enough return on investment to justify a season 3. And that was a real shame because it was incredibly highly rated at an 8.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Next up is Hannibal. This show follows FBI profiler Will Graham as he investigates gruesome murders alongside brilliant forensic psychiatrist Dr. Hannibal Lecter, completely unaware that Lecter is the serial killer. It ran for 3 flawless seasons, so why was it cancelled? Hannibal was the victim of being on the wrong network. It aired on NBC, which is the standard broadcast television. It was way too dark, gory, and artsy for mainstream cable audiences, which led to abysmal live TV ratings. On top of that, the show's executive producer later revealed that rampant online piracy absolutely gutted their viewership numbers. It was a premium HBO quality show trapped on NBC, and it suffocated. And the biggest shame? It was rated 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. If you want a conspiracy thriller, you need the original UK version of Utopia. The story follows comic book fans who discover a graphic novel that predicts real-world disasters, putting them on the run from a deep state organization. It ran for 2 mind-bending seasons. So why was it cancelled? This one is just infuriating. Channel 4 in the UK cancelled simply to make room for new shows. The creator, Dennis Kelly, had season 3 planned out, but the network ruthlessly axed it. To make matters worse, David Fincher tried to remake it for HBO, the guy who made Mindhunter, but the budget fell through. And then Amazon finally remade it years later and it was absolute garbage. Also another one that fell through the cracks with an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Then we have The Knick. Directed entirely by Steven Soderbergh, this is a raw, bloody look at New York Hospital in the year 1900, starring Clive Owen as the brilliant but severely drug-addicted surgeon. It ran for 2 phenomenal seasons. So why was it cancelled? Steven Soderbergh actually had a brilliant 6-season master plan where he would completely reboot the cast and jump forward in time every 2 seasons. But the network, Cinemax, underwent a massive executive rebrand. They decided to completely abandon prestige, award-winning dramas, and pivot back to making cheap, fun action shows. The Knick didn't fit the new corporate mandate, so they literally threw a masterpiece in the trash with an 8.5 rating. Next is one of the most underrated shows ever made, Patriot. It follows a severely depressed US intelligence officer who has to go undercover at a piping firm in the Midwest to stop Iran from going nuclear. It lasted for 2 seasons, so why was it cancelled? Amazon Studios got a brand new boss, Jennifer Salk, and she came in to clean house. She wanted to chase massive global blockbusters like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. Because Patriot had a terrible title, weird marketing, and was a quirky niche dark comedy, the new executives quietly swept it under the rug and cancelled it up to free up cash for the mega franchises. Another one falls with an 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb. Moving over to music, we have The Get Down. Created by Baz Luhrmann, this epic, visually spectacular series chronicles the death of disco and the birth of hip-hop in the late 1970s South Bronx. It lasted for just 1 split season, so why was it cancelled? Pure production hell. Behind the scenes, the show was a disaster. Writers were constantly being replaced, filming stalled, and Baz Luhrmann had to keep stepping in to fix things. The budget spiraled completely out of control, eventually costing Netflix an astronomical $120 million for a single season. When it finally premiered, it just didn't pull in the massive audience required to justify being one of the most expensive shows in history, with an 8.2 IMDb rating. Finally, we have the incredibly gritty Quarry. It follows a disillusioned US Marine who returns home to Memphis in 1972 and gets pulled into a ruthless network of contract killers operating along the Mississippi River. It lasted for just one perfect season. So why was it cancelled? Just like the Knick, this show was brutally murdered by the Cinemax rebranding. The creators actually had the entire second season fully written and mapped out. But when Cinemax decided to stop making prestige TV, Quarry was left homeless. They tried to shop it around to other networks to save it, but no one picked it up, leaving it stranded as a one-season wonder with an 8.1 IMDb rating out of 10. So that's it. It's absolutely tragic that we won't get to see how these stories ended, but every single one of these shows is still 100% worth your time to watch. Which one of these cancellations hurt you most? Also, let me know down in the comments if you want to see another video like this covering the massive mainstream shows that got completely axed. Type down your request down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay in the pop room, and I'll see you in the next one.